Greetings, everyone, and welcome to True Crime with the Bad Girl, the Playa, and Dangerous Dave. I am Benny Scala, a.k.a. the Playa, a.k.a. Benny the Jet, a.k.a. Mr. Ed. And with me, as always, my lovely co-host. She is a professional wrestling Hall of Famer and the queen of the oldies airwaves. Now, although Aaron Judge recently won the 2025 American League MVP, it's only because she was left off the ballot. And she's the one and only Boston Bad Girl, Brittany Brown. Brittany, how are you this glorious Monday evening?
Oh, I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
Cannot complain. I'm here with my great friends.
Yes.
You can't, it doesn't get any better. Well, it does. I mean, maybe like, a bevy of hookers. But other than that, it's like great. And speaking of hookers, in this corner, the king of the carnival and uncle of all pickles and sausages, Dangerous Dave Starr. Dave, now, are you hiring for the carnival? And the only reason why I asked that, because I've heard that a lot of ladies want to be on your staff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they want to be on the staff, but you have to MD me, private, text me. There's certain criteria to get into the carnival.
Do you have like a job application?
They can, yeah, we have applications we go through. Also a stress test, certain tests we go through.
I'm sure it's very, very hands-on, right?
Yeah, you have to be able to bend over and touch your toes without bending your knees, stuff like that.
That's very important.
Get on all fours and kick your leg back to see how lumbar you are. You know what I mean? Certain tests
I get
you
it.
have to do to get in the carnival.
Right.
And I hope everyone out there had a great weekend. And I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me.
Amen to that. And for those of you in Radio Land, thanks for listening on Want Radio. They got what you want. We're now also available on Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Player, FM, Podchaser on Boomplay. And if you're on YouTube for the first time, please like and subscribe. We need your help. And going to have a quick word from our sponsors. We've got to pay the bills here, including our favorite sponsor. And then we'll be back for our show. True Crime with the Bad Girl, the Playa, and the Stars is brought to you by the Burbrower Law Firm. Folks, if you've been injured in a car accident, please reach out to our good friend Adam Burbrower at the Burbrower Law Firm. Adam and his crew do things the right way with great results. Not only is Adam a great attorney, but the dude has framed pictures of Ernie the Cat Lad, the unpredictable Johnny Rods, and our very own Boston Bad Girl in his office. How cool is that? If you see Adam at the community pool trying to nail that elusive triple Lindy, you'll notice superstar Billy Graham tattooed on his back and Bret the Hitman Hart tattooed on his chest. This guy is not only the man of the hour, the man with the legal power, too sweet to be sour. He is also the excellence of elocution. Besides being a great guy, Adam is a true crime aficionado and an avid WWF historian. Who else can get you a great settlement while breaking down Mario Mancini's greatest matches? Well, that one's a quickie. Check out Adam at burbrowerlaw.com and follow him on Facebook. And don't forget to tell him that the Bad Girl, the Playa, and the Stars sent you. And last but certainly not least is Uncle Dave. True Crime with the Bad Girl, the Playa, and the Stars is brought to you by Uncle Dave's Sausage. Are you hungry? Hungry for something thick, juicy, and just a little bit naughty? Introducing Uncle Dave's Sausage, the only meat that knows exactly how to fill your buns. Whether you like it spicy, smoky, or just plain stuffed to the brim, Uncle Dave's got the girth, the girth of flavor you crave. Morning, evening, a quick nibble at 3 a.m. No shame, baby. Uncle Dave's Sausage is served 24/7 at the carnival, where the rides aren't the only things that go up and down. You might have been into fitness, but once you've had the Uncle Dave's experience, the only thing on your mind will be fitting this sausage in your mouth. Slide it between two warm buns. Slather it in mayo, or give it a good squirt of mustard if you're feeling frisky. Don't be shy. You know you want it. Everyone's lining up to take a bite. Even Grandma said it was the best thing to ever slap her in the mouth, because nothing slaps you in the mouth quite as hard as Uncle Dave's Sausage. So, folks, in the heat of the night or the light of the day, when your cravings for meat just won't go away, don't settle for Slim or some flimsy old link. Get Uncle Dave's Sausage. It's thicker than you think. Available now only at the carnival. Bring a friend Or 2, Uncle Dave's Sausage, the sausage you can't say no to. Dave, how are the sales going with that?
Sales are good. I also forgot one other qualification to get into the carnival is you have to jog in place in a wet T-shirt 100 times. So that's one other exercise you have to do. But things are going good. The carnival's good. Yeah. The popcorn's popping. The cotton candy's cotton, and everything's great.
So that's like the like Bob Backlund, the Harvard stress test. You know, when he climbed this, you just have somebody do that with a wet T-shirt.
Yes, you have to be able to jump because I want to make sure their vascular lungs and everything is up to par.
They got the cardio. Yeah, they got to have the endurance.
Right. You can't have a heart attack during certain things in the carnival. So
no, the carnival's not a sprint. The carnival's a marathon. You gotta have your cardio there.
Exactly.
Gotcha. All right. Well, it seems you're the man in charge, and I think the right person for the job. So I think
absolutely.
You're quite busy with the applicants there. Just a guess.
Yes.
No
like
problem. No problem.
A lot of women want to be on your staff. So.
Yep. Well, when they're on my staff, they know they're at the top.
That's right. There you go. Well, guys, I will admit that I was pretty naive about Christy Martin and who she was until a bad girl told me about it. You know, this may not be the #1 podcast in the world, but I work with 2 of the most #1 people in the whole world. And I think our chat room is #1 also. But this episode is about Christy Martin, the one and only female boxer to have appeared on the cover of Sports Illustrated. And she's one of the rare survivors. Most of the time when we're doing a true crime show, there's a murder victim, but she survived. So, Brittany, why don't you let everybody know what happened there?
Yeah, this is a really interesting one. And the movie Christy is actually in the theaters right now.
Oh,
and obviously it is about her. So, some lives seem born from fire, and Christy Martin's was one of them. She came from the coal country of southern West Virginia, a place where the earth itself seems to rumble with hardship, and strength was less a virtue than a necessity. She was born Christy Salters in 1968. She was the daughter of a coal miner, a man who rose before dawn to descend into the dark, blackened veins of the Appalachian Hills. Her mother was strong too, in the way that women in small towns have to be, steady, proud, and used to swallowing fear. Christy was a girl who didn't quite fit into the mold that her little hometown of Mullins, West Virginia expected. She was quick with her fists and quicker with her words. Well, she could be my sister.
There you go.
She loves sports, competition, and the thrill of winning. Her family thought she might become a teacher or a coach, something steady, but she craves something else. The jolt of proving herself, of hearing people cheer. It was in college, at Concord College, that she stumbled into the thing that would change her life. A friend told her about a local tough man contest, a sort of amateur boxing event where anybody could climb into the ring. Christy, who'd always been more brawler than Belle, decided to enter. She wasn't trained. She didn't have the right gloves or footwork, but she had guts. And for Christy, that was enough. She won, and then she won again. That night, the crowd cheered for her like she was someone out of a movie. She felt the lights, the sweat, the pulse of power that came with fighting, and she was hooked. After that contest, a man approached her. He was older, compact, with the weary, watchful eyes of someone who had lived most of his life inside gyms that smelled like sweat and liniment. His name was Jim Martin. He was a boxing trainer from Florida with a reputation. Oh, he wasn't bad looking. I thought he was going to be ugly. His name was Jim Martin. He was a boxing trainer from Florida with a reputation for being tough, maybe too tough. He told Christy she had talent, raw but real. He offered to train her to make her into a real fighter. Christy took him up on it. She didn't know then that the decision would bind her to him for decades in ways that would lift her up and nearly destroy her. Jim Martin's gym in Florida was more prison than sanctuary. It was old, stripped of any glamour, just heavy bags, mirrors, and pain. Jim trained her hard. He barked at her, pushed her, and told her what she needed to hear, not what she wanted to hear. He could be cruel, but he was also the first person to tell her she could be great. She started fighting professionally in the late 1980s, long before women's boxing had found its place in the spotlight. Promoters didn't want her on their cards. Audiences thought women fighting was a sideshow act. But Christy fought like she had something to prove, which she did. Every punch was a statement. By the early 1990s, she was building a reputation as the coal miner's daughter. Her fights were brutal and thrilling. She had an iron chin and an instinct for war. She wasn't the most technically perfect boxer, but she had heart. In boxing, that sometimes mattered more than anything. In 1993, she signed with Dong King. Wow. The flamboyant promoter known for his towering hair and his knack for turning fights into spectacles. King saw in Christy something the sport needed, a fighter who could tell a story. And Christy Martin was a story, a woman from the mines taking punches and giving them back harder. Her big break came in 1996 when she fought Deirdre Gogarty on the undercard of a Mike Tyson Frank Bruno fight. Millions were watching. Most had never seen two women box on such a stage. Christy and Deirdre didn't just fight, they tore into each other, refusing to back down, trading blows with the kind of ferocity that silenced, skeptics. Wow.
Yeah, she was tough.
Christy,
Yeah, you got some
wow.
color there, right?
Wow, just a bit. By the end, Christy's face was smeared with blood, but her hand was raised. The crowd roared. Overnight, she became a star. A few months later, she appeared on the cover of Sports Illustrated. Oh, the first female boxer ever to do so. She wore a pink sports bra, her gloves still laced up, her face fierce and proud. The headline read, "The Lady is a Champ." It was a watershed moment. She had taken a sport that most people thought didn't belong to women and carved out her place in it with her fists. But behind the fame, behind the Sports Illustrated cover and the television appearances, there was another story. Jim Martin was not just her trainer anymore, he had become her husband. She had married him young, not long after she started training with him. He was 17 years older, and to many people, it seemed like a strange match. To Christy, it felt like loyalty, like the only way to hold on to the person who had helped her build her career. But inside their home, things were dark. Jim was controlling, jealous, and abusive. He kept her isolated, monitored her phone calls, told her who she could see and what she could say. Christy had known, even before she married him, that she wasn't straight. As a teenager, she had fallen in love with a woman. That relationship ended painfully, but the truth of it had stayed with her. In her world, rural West Virginia, then the macho world of boxing, there wasn't space for that, of her to exist openly. Jim knew about her past, and he used it as a weapon against her. He accused her of being unfaithful, called her names, and kept her under emotional lock and key. Still, Christy kept fighting. The ring was the only place she felt in control. Through the late 1990s and early 2000, she became the face of women's boxing. She fought big names, won titles, and earned real money. She met Muhammad Ali, sat on talk shows, signed autographs. But she was also growing more addicted to cocaine, to painkillers, to anything that could numb the chaos at home. Cocaine became her escape. She hid it from Jim at first, then stopped trying to. He despised it, but he also used it as another way to control her, threatening to expose her addiction or ruin her career. She'd show up to the gym high, then fight her way through sparring like a woman possessed. Fame faded, as it always does. Younger fighters came up, and Christy's body began to break down. She had surgery after surgery. The fights became harder, the wins became less frequent. By 2010, her marriage to Jim had turned toxic beyond repair. She was 42, bruised, addicted, and ready to leave. But leaving Jim wasn't simple. He controlled her money, her career, her life. And he made it clear that if she ever left him, he would rather kill her than see her go. She found love again that year with a woman she'd known since high school, Sherry Lusk. The old feelings she had buried came back, and for the first time, Christy allowed herself to live the truth she had denied for decades. She decided to leave Jim, but he found out. On November 23rd, 2010, Christy came home to the house she still shared with Jim in Apopka, Florida, to pack her things. They argued. He accused her of betraying him, of humiliating him. At some point, he pulled out a knife and a gun. He stabbed her 3 times in the chest and the side, then shot her once in the torso. She collapsed onto the floor, bleeding, but still conscious. Jim left her there, assuming she would die. But Christy Martin had never known how to quit. With one lung punctured and blood soaking her clothes, she crawled out of the house and into the street. A passing motorist saw her, stopped, and called for help. When the police arrived, she was barely conscious, but she managed to say 3 words: Jim shot me.
I'm sure she added that fucking rat bastard, but I guess they didn't print that part of it, right?
All I got to say is lesbians are cool.
Oh, well, Jim Martin fled. He was found days later hiding in a hotel in Orlando. I had heard that he was hiding in his neighbor's tool shed, but whatever. Christy spent weeks in the hospital. Her left lung had collapsed. She had lost part of her calf muscle from the stab wounds. She had nearly died, but somehow she recovered, slowly, painfully. The story made headlines everywhere. The image of the once famous boxer, the woman who had bled for her sport, now surviving an attempted murder by her husband, struck a nerve with the public. It was both tragic and testament. When Jim Martin went on trial in 2012, Christy took the stand. Let me show a picture of Mr. Martin there. Dressed in a dark suit. He aged pretty quickly there. She faced him across the courtroom. Yeah, not so handsome anymore. Her voice was steady. She described the abuse, the control, and the years of fear. She told the jury what had happened that day, how he had stabbed and shot her, how she had crawled to freedom. The jury didn't take long. Jim Martin was convicted of attempted second-degree murder and sentenced to 25 years in prison. When the verdict was read, Christy didn't cry. She later said that she felt free for the first time in her life. In the years that followed, Christy Martin began to rebuild. She finally quit cocaine. The addiction that had haunted her for so long loosened its grip. She entered recovery, leaned on her faith, and found purpose in helping others do the same. She started Christy's Champs, a foundation aimed at helping survivors of domestic violence and at-risk youth. She became a public speaker, telling her story with the same grit that had defined her fights. She wanted people to know that surviving wasn't just possible, it was proof of power. She also returned to boxing, not as a fighter, but as a promoter. She began organizing events, giving opportunities to younger fighters, especially women, which reminded her of herself. And she found love again, for real this time. She married Sherry Lusk in 2017, the woman she had loved since her youth. Together, they built a life grounded in honesty and healing. Looking back, Christy has said that the ring saved her life, but it also taught her how to endure the blows outside of it. Every round she fought, whether it was against an opponent, an addiction, or her abuser, built the resilience that ultimately kept her alive. Her story isn't just about boxing. It's about survival, identity, and reclaiming one's voice after years of silence. She still carries the scars, physical and emotional, but they no longer define her. She's spoken openly about being gay, about addiction, about the shame that once kept her quiet. And in doing so, she's helped countless others find their strength. When she talks about her life now, she doesn't sugarcoat it. She says she was broken more than once, but she always stood back up. I wasn't supposed to live through that night, she once said in an interview, but maybe God had other plans for me. Maybe I was supposed to tell this story, and she has. Christy Martin's legacy in boxing is undeniable. Before her, women's boxing was barely a blip in the sports world. After her, it was on television, in magazines, on pay-per-view cards. Fighters like Layla Ali, Katie Taylor, and Claressa Shields owe a piece of that path to Christy, the woman who made it impossible to ignore that women could fight and fight well. But her legacy reaches beyond the ropes. She became a symbol of survival for those trapped in abusive relationships, a reminder that no amount of fear should define one's life. In her later years, she said that she still misses the feeling of the crowd, the heat of the lights, the pulse of combat. But she's found another kind of ring, one made of stages and microphones, where her words strike as hard as any punch she ever threw. The coal miner's daughter didn't come from privilege or polish. She came from grit, from mountains where people learned to fight because there wasn't any other choice. She rose from the dust and coal, made herself a champion, then nearly lost everything to love and violence. But she lived. She fought. She told her story. And in the end, Christy Martin didn't just change boxing. She changed the definition of what it means to win. Yeah, that's really, she's a champion in my book.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. You know, a couple things I want to say here first, from the bottom of my heart, with all seriousness. I love lesbians. I have lesbian friends over the years. Lesbians are great to our culture in this country, and I love lesbians. With that said, when Brittany told me, mentioned her name, Christy Martin, I was kind of stunned for a moment. And I don't get stunned too often, but I was stunned for a moment because I forgot all about her, but I used to watch her. This girl was ferocious. I used to watch her because when they came out, when she started, women's boxing was just in its infancy. And I used to watch this girl because I watched a lot of Mike Tyson pay-per-views. And this girl, I'll tell you what, man, for your entertainment money, this girl was every boxing match that she was a tough girl. Every boxing match she was in was like thrilling. Like it was just like when you paid to see her, you got your money's worth. And she was one tough girl. She was out of my mind. Like for years, I never even thought of her until Brittany brought her up, and then it stunned my brain. I'm like, wait a second, I used to watch her all the time, and she was a great boxer. A lot of bloody matches she had.
You don't really see I guess AEW now has women getting color, and but you never really saw that. Like I never saw. The only one I ever saw get color was Sue Green. Tex Green, and it was when she was in Puerto Rico against Rhonda Singh. I think she was called something else at that time, but yeah, she got a hard way into the ring post, and it was a black and white grainy footage. And when I had her on Dan and Benny in the ring, I said, "Did you get color?" Because it looked like she did, but it was kind of. She goes, "Oh yeah, I definitely got big time color," but you rarely, you don't really see that. But she was, Christy was a bloody mess, and I'm sure that happened more than once.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And unfortunately, she got involved with someone just seedy, I guess would be the word to use, seedy in the boxing business. It's too bad she got involved with this piece of shit, but she did. But boy, the bounce back after going through that and cocaine and all the ups and downs to to come back and find love, and and to straighten your life out is she's really a testament, and boxing should use her more as far
I
as
agree.
absolutely boxing. It's like boxing kind of forgot about her, which is shitty, but I think they should like put her on as a commentator. No, take care of her. I mean, she was the one that started basically the women's boxing, started what, to get people to watch women's boxing. And they kind of like just threw her to the wolves when they were done with her. And they should use her in some type of capacity in the boxing business.
Well, from what I understand, I listened to a couple of different podcasts about her, that she married Martin because of pressure from her family. That back then it wasn't cool to be a lesbian. I mean, you had to have pursue the American dream. The husband, the white picket fence, the 2.3 kids. So she got a lot of family pressure to conform, and she did it. And I mean, on the surface for a while it worked. In reality, it did not, because the guy was definitely an asshole. And but what really bothered me is I listened to a lot of his defense attorney, Martin's, and what a piece of shit he was. I mean, he tried to twist everything around, that it was her, that he was just it was self-defense on his part.
He definitely tried to kill her.
Sleep at night. I mean, that's not true. Yet I mean, in a way, to me, it's almost perjury. Absolutely, constantly know that is a lie, and yet you're saying it in court. I mean, I know you have to give your client a defense, but to me, like, you need to just present reasonable doubt. I mean, I didn't like the guy, and apparently nobody else did, because I think it only took them a couple of hours to come to the verdict. It was a pretty quick one.
Yeah.
It was.
And I'm glad he got 25 years.
Yeah. Yeah, and he died in prison.
Good.
Yeah, he died in prison. And it was like, the verdict was like a Silvano Souza match, a couple of minutes.
Yeah. What did I'd like to get Brittany's opinion on what he looked like when he was in court. She says he was kind of sexy looking there.
Oh, yeah. No, I think Benny took the words right out of my mouth, actually. Yeah, he did not age well.
No.
No.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. It's a drag to
He
grow
looked like
old,
a high school principal there.
But I think all of us are proof that you can age very gracefully. I'd like to think I'm doing it. I know you guys are doing it. You guys both look great, and you were professional wrestlers. I was a bean counter. I had it easy. But yeah, I mean, I devoted my life to fitness in 1988. We were talking about that before the show. And, I go to Grandma Sally's every morning, and I would like to know how old some of these people are, because I bet they're my age. And I swear to you, they could pass for my parents. So anybody out there, I mean, a fitness lifestyle, going to the gym, eating healthy, it requires some discipline. But I will tell you, personally, after doing it for 37 years, I do not regret it for 1 second.
And you look like an animal too. You look like an animal.
Yeah. Well, I am one.
Yeah, you are. You're an animal.
Yeah, there I go.
Yes.
I had to do that. I'm sorry. I know it's vain, but what do you know?
No, it's not. It's excellent.
One of the 7 deadly sins is vanity, I think. But
the man of the hour, power of power, too sweet to be sour.
There you go. The reflection
Benny
of perfection,
Scala, the player.
whatever it is. I always say I'm the man with the hair, the man on the air. I'm so debonair, it's almost not fair.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. Yep. Oh. So yeah, what really bothered me was the way that they try to completely turn this around on this poor girl. I do feel sorry for her in a way, and I don't because I know that this girl was like tougher than nails. She had a lot of guts and a lot of determination, but at the same time, I guess she married him right around 20-ish. I mean, those are supposed to be the best years of your life. And she had somebody that she really, really loved, but she couldn't be with, because back then it was kind of like a taboo. Now it's more accepted. But so instead of being with who she wanted to be with, she married somebody she thought that she was supposed to be with, and look what happened.
Yeah. It's very sad, and I'm glad to see that they made a movie. And it's funny. I too forgot about her until I saw the movie at the movie theater. I didn't go see the movie, but I saw it advertised. And I said, Christy, what's that about? And I read it and I went, oh my gosh. And Dave, just like you, I kind of forgot about her too. And I remember getting the pay-per-views back in the 80s, early 90s, whenever. And she was on there and she was tough. And I'll never forget her name. I'll never forget it because to me, she was the very beginning. She was almost like the Moolah of boxing.
Right.
Really. Even, not for promoting or anything like that or training, but as far as revolutionizing women in sports. I mean, she was the first women boxer that I know of that was in excellent pay-per-views and
Right.
on the undercard of those great shows. And I mean, for Don King to step up and want a woman, that's surprising.
I mean, and this was not the lingerie football league. I mean, this lady had her nose smeared all over her face, and that was real. There was nothing that was not a work. You
got that right.
Literally bled. I mean, that one shot, she's got blood all over her face, on her shirt. But she really had, like it said in the beginning, she had no training. She just went into it thinking, I can do this, and she did it. And yeah, of course, what's his name? The husband helped as far as the training part of it, but I think a lot of it, she just had. You can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't have that desire, you're going nowhere.
Right.
Well, maybe she felt she married this guy because she felt secure. Maybe she felt, as far as boxing, not her personal life, but boxing. Maybe she felt like if she stuck with this guy, maybe that's where her future was in boxing. I don't know how powerful this guy was or what connections he had in boxing. He must have had some because she was on those pay-per-views. Does anybody know
what on a Don King card? You're big time.
I know.
Does anybody know what her payoffs were? Like how much money she made?
No.
Oh,
I heard that. I mean, it kind of reminded me. I was listening to a podcast, like I said, and remember the Buddy Rogers, which to me was the most emotional episode ever when he said, Jimmy Snooker, Jimmy, you have no money. It's all gone. And they go, Buddy, would you be my manager? And they hugged. But, in real life, Jim Martin, I guess, went through all her money, at the end with all those fights. She had no money. So whatever those payouts were, he was going, and what the hell he was doing with it, I have no idea.
Geez, I'll have to do some research after the show because I'm kind of curious. Yeah. Unless somebody out there in podcast land knows, I'm very curious what her paydays were for these pay-per-views and her matches.
I would think on a Mike Tyson card, she had to get at least 50 G's, no?
I would think.
I would think.
If somebody said 100, I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't either. I wouldn't either. And back then, I mean, that's big money. Right. It's big money now, but back then, that was huge money.
Well, whatever she made, in my opinion, she earned every penny of it because, I mean, that woman put her, she put everything out there.
Yep, I agree. And what a sad story, though, to make that kind of money and to fight the way she fought, and the guts that woman had to keep coming back and doing it again and training as hard as she did with that guy who sounds like a real jerk. Yeah. And that's being nice. I'm watching my language.
Well, you know, I mean,
I mean, he just sounds like a total piece of work. That's all I can say. And then to do what he did to her, the controlling, who you on the phone with and that kind of nonsense. So she lived a horrible life like that. Plus she's hiding that secret that she had.
Right.
And he's burning through her money. Right. And then he leaves her to die. He leaves her to die. He just walks out and leaves her to die. God,
I think
what a guy.
that was the day I believe that she was going to leave him.
Yep.
Because she had went and visited this gal. I think they were somewhere down here. I think the girl lived in Ocala, somewhere around here, and she went to go visit her. And when she came back, she told the husband, I'm packing my shit and then I'm moving out. And he had threatened to kill her before, so I guess he tried to make good on it.
Jesus. What a shame.
Dave, that's a good point. She was very young. I'm sure very impressionable. I'm sure she felt, that she needed somebody to, quote unquote, take care of her. And she just unfortunately picked the wrong guy.
Yeah.
Well, look at it this way. What if it was the wrestling business? Just hypothetical. I mean, just say I was 20 or you were 20, Brittany, and, you came across this powerful guy who either was a promoter or trainer, and you were nothing yet, and he could make you a something. And it's basically the same thing. You see, hey, I'm going to marry him because this guy can, up my career. And I think that's probably what she did. Like I don't think she ever loved him. I think she was looking for a path to sustain success. And she thought that it would be with him. And unfortunately it wasn't.
That's a good point by Coach. Yeah, she may have missed the familiarity with, with stability rather.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. I agree though, Dave, with what you're saying. It sounds like that's exactly what she did. And maybe half the people in the world would do that. That's not something I would do. I want to work my way up. I don't want to, ride off somebody else's coattails. I don't want to do that. And plus, if I didn't love the guy, I wouldn't marry him.
Right.
That's, that's just, no, that's wrong. So in my opinion,
the worst feeling in the world, waking up next and looking at somebody that you don't belong with.
I know.
Especially when there's somebody that you know that you do belong with. And that's got to be a horrible thing.
Well, I mean, the thing is, I have morals and values, but if I had to sleep my way to get to the breaks, then so be it. Then that's what Dangerous Dave would do. If that's how I had to get to the top, then that's the way it is, and then showcase my talents. Then, as dirty as I would feel, and ashamed of myself as I would feel, making love to women to get to the top. Oh well, I'd have to do it.
I'm sure our last week's subject, Phil Spector. I mean, I'm sure he took advantage of many young girls.
Oh, I bet.
Well,
you want a record deal? Well, all you need to do is this,
Right. I didn't know he made. To get off the subject for a second, I didn't know. I was just learned this today. I didn't know Phil Spector made. Darlene Love is her name, the one that sang that big Christmas song.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, he's got that big Christmas song. I guess I think he wrote it maybe and made her.
Wow.
I didn't know he was part of the Teddy Bears. I mean, I've heard that song "To Know Him Is to Love Him" like a million times, and I had no idea he was actually part of that act.
Yeah, I didn't either until last week. Yeah.
I mean, it's so funny. We see this so many times that these people, they hit it big. They have a gift. They have a talent, and they wind up with fame and all the money in the world and everything at their fingertips. And even that's not enough for them. And it makes you wonder,
I know.
Money, I mean, money can't replace love and friendship. That's what I'm going on.
Yeah, the song, Christmas, snow coming down, Christmas. Phil Spector wrote, had something to do with Darlene Love in that song.
Okay. Wouldn't be surprised.
I don't know if I sang the melody, if it's in your head, but it's a big hit, Darlene Love.
Okay. I'll check it out.
Wow. Yeah. Maybe you can spin that towards Christmas time, Benny.
Well, I'm going to have a Christmas show eventually. It's just, I told my beautiful server at Grandma Sally's, I said, I love you guys, except for one thing. They started playing the Christmas music the day after Halloween. And I said, it's just too early. You want to throw an occasional, the John Lennon or McCartney Christmas song, like a one-off. Yeah. But like right now it's continuous. Except for Sundays. Sundays, the station they have talks about like tumors and stuff like that. And I make them turn it off because I don't want to hear tumors when I'm eating breakfast.
No, I don't blame you.
Well, if Mrs. P's out there, or somebody could put that up,
No, where is Miss? I have not seen Mrs. P or Denise.
Yeah, if they can put that song up from Darlene Love.
I'm sure they know what it is.
They know everything.
That's a big hit. Big hit. I love that song, and it was a big hit.
If I ever make it up that way, what I'd like to do, feel like Rick Rude, what I'd like to have right now, what I'd like to do is for all of us to go play trivia at a bar, and of course bring Mrs. P in 2.0, and I bet we'd clean up.
Oh my gosh, they would just they'd stomp everybody there. No chance. Nobody would have a chance. The people would leave.
Right, like they claim it was fixed.
And well, just to let you know, I put my Christmas tree up yesterday, and all my Christmas stuff up.
Wow. I got nothing Christmas up.
I got grandkids, and I got to get into the spirit. So I got to get. It's coming, and it's coming fast. So I actually did some Christmas shopping over the weekend.
38 more days until Christmas, if my calculations are correct. It's just sneaking up on us.
I did some Christmas shopping over the weekend also. I got into a little Christmas spirit. So I got into a lot of Christmas spirit over the weekend. So everything's up. The Christmas tree's up.
Second favorite holiday? I would say it's my favorite holiday. Is yours? I know Halloween is your favorite, right, Dave?
Halloween and Thanksgiving. I'm not Christmas to me is kids. I've never bought presents for my brothers. I've never brought, I don't believe in going broke or using charge cards.
It's become very commercialized. Yes, I agree. We only give, only for the kids.
Yeah, no. And, I don't go into debt for that, but I got grandkids, so I gotta get into the spirit.
I got granddogs. You gotta spoil the grandkids, of course. Absolutely, that's okay.
And I got granddogs. So the thing is, I was lazy. I was kind of lazy because you had Halloween. A couple of weeks gone by, and I had a pep talk with myself. I said, Dave, you got to get on the ball here. You got grandkids. You got to get your shit together, get a plan, and start Christmas shopping. So that's what I did this weekend.
There you go.
So
nothing wrong with that. Now, Dave, I think I saw a picture of you and Marvin Hagler, right?
Really? Yes. Yes,
Wow.
Marvin was a friend of mine. Yes, he was.
The Brockton Bomber, right? Is that what they call him?
Yes, I think I've sent pictures to you guys. Or did I send pictures of me and
Marvin? One of my favorite boxers ever. You talk about a machine. Holy crap.
Didn't I send the pictures to you when he asked me to put him in a headlock? He asked, Dave, can you teach me how to put somebody in a headlock? And I taught him how to put somebody in a headlock. And that's me and Marvin were known as the Brockton Connection in the Brockton Enterprise. I want to go back to the library because when I had all these articles, they used to write about us in the Brockton Enterprise. And when I broke up with my ex, she threw them all in the dumpster on me and threw them away on me.
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah, she threw them all away on me. I'd like to go to the Brockton Library and go back to that time and see if I could go into the sports section for those years and see if I could recapture those stories. Because me and Marvin were known as the Brockton Connection. We did a lot of stuff together.
Yeah, he was definitely marvelous. That name, he earned that. I mean, you talk about a legend. That was a legend as far as a boxer.
That was going to be, Marvin was a small guy, but he had these hands. He was a great guy too. Excellent great guy, great person, but he had these hands, and they were like huge. Like I can't describe his hands because he was so small, but his hands were huge, and he was a great guy. Um, and that comes to the next question I was going to ask people out there in podcast land in here. Who is, and I'll go first, who was your favorite boxer and who you think was the toughest? In my opinion, it was Marvin Hagler, without a doubt. One of the greatest middleweight, heavyweight champion, bar none. He did not lose to Sugar Ray Leonard, but he didn't play politics. Goody and Pat Petronelli didn't play politics. So the boxing politics they didn't like them because they didn't play with them. Marvin was, what you saw is what you get with Marvin, and that was the way it is, and they didn't like that. But he never lost to Sugar Ray Leonard. That wasn't one of Marvin's best fights, but he did not lose that fight.
Yeah. And I saw that too, and I agree.
Yeah, I will tell you that he was probably my favorite boxer. And back then, boxing was such a great sport, and not just the heavyweights. I mean, you even go down to the lightweights. It was great to watch. The light heavies, the middleweights, welterweights. Every weight class seemed to have a great or more than one great fighter. But I have to say, and you're never going to have heard this name before. My favorite all-time boxer is a guy named Isidore Genazzo. Izzy, my uncle. It was my great aunt. So my grandmother's sister's husband, and he actually fought in the 30s and the 40s, I think into the early 50s. But he fought Barney Ross for the world championship at Madison Square Garden and lost a split decision. He was that good.
Wow.
Yeah. He used to come to my... What's that?
Uncle Izzy.
Uncle Izzy used to come on Saturday. Uncle Izzy and Aunt Frances used to come on Saturday afternoon, and Uncle Izzy loved Drambuie, and and my mom would make this German apple cake, and it was like crack to him, and he would eat it. And he was from Alabama, but like between like all the punches and his nose was squished, and but he'd tell me, secrets of, when you're in the clinch, you got to hit him in the balls. Like when the referee's not looking, hit him in the balls. But I mean, it's just salt of the earth people, but they'd come and play cards every Saturday. Oh. And he was so modest. He never, ever talked about it. But one day I said, Uncle Izzy, could you do me a favor? Bring your scrapbook. And I sat there for like hours, and the New York Daily News and the New York Post, and I mean, he was a very accomplished fighter. Now, most people wouldn't have heard of him because, it's like 80 years ago.
Yeah.
But I would have Uncle Izzy is my favorite fighter always.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I'll tell you, I'll tell you a good fight too. You people out there in Carlos Monzon he was good.
Carlos Monzon was a hell of a fighter.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, you want to see a fight, go watch the first, I think they fought twice. Go watch the first Marvelous Marvin Hagler, John Mugabe fight. Marvin took a lot of punishment in that fight. John Mugabe was a tough customer. And Marvin even told me that was probably one of his toughest fights he ever had. And go watch that first fight with Marvin Hagler and John Mugabe. Man, that was a brutal fight. That was a brutal boxing match. Marvin finally knocked him down in the late rounds. But man, he gave Marvin a lot of punishment in that fight.
Cool. I'd like to see that one over.
Another great fighter, Boom Boom Mancini. Yep.
Yeah.
There were a lot of them. I mean, even I liked a guy named Alexis Arguello. I think he was a lightweight, and he wasn't like a knockout guy, but he was like an artist in the ring. He just, won most of his fights on by decision, but it was fun. Like I couldn't even tell you who the heavyweight champion is. I probably couldn't even name anybody in professional boxing now.
No, same here. And I used to follow it so much.
I followed it very closely. I would even buy boxing magazines, not as much as I bought wrestling magazines, but I bought the boxing magazines too. And I'd watch it. If it was on Saturday on on ABC after bowling, I'd always catch it.
Cool.
I don't know what happened to it. It's not what it used to be. Well, I mean,
I know.
They don't have the athletes that they used to have. Like before, you go to heavyweight division, the middleweight division, lightweight division. You'd have full of stars, like full of tough fighters. Today, it's just, you got one here, got one there.
Yeah.
I tell you who I wanted. I wanted Jerry Cooney to be my favorite boxer. Remember the Great White Hope from Long Island?
Yeah, he was an embarrassment. I'll tell you who was tough though was the other guy, Jerry Quarry.
Yeah, that's funny because you're a mind reader there. Jerry Quarry was, not the best boxer, but man, that guy hung in every fight.
He did. He was tough. It's sad how his life ended. If you ever see how his life ended, he really didn't know who he was. I believe he was living.
Yeah, sad, very sad.
I forget who he was living with. Maybe one of his brothers or a friend. They had to take care of him the last years of his life.
And he wasn't that old either, right? I mean, from what I understand, he wasn't like, it wasn't like he lived to an old age. He died relatively young.
Yeah. I think he was in his early 50s, maybe 50s.
That's a shame. I mean, that's what you, that's what you, when you sign up to be a boxer. I mean, you're going to get hit.
Right.
Definitely.
I wonder if, it's funny, like Davey O'Hannon, who I absolutely love. And I always joke with him because he's always going for another surgery. And I tell him that the AMA is going to give him a plaque for keeping them in business. He's had so many knee replacement. I mean, you name it, he's had it. And I said, but he always says if he had to do it all over again, he without hesitation would do it all over again. So I mean, that shows what a great professional wrestling is, or was anyway.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There's nothing, and Brittany can back me up on this. I mean, there's nothing getting to walk out to the ring. I used to walk out with robes and all that stuff. To walk out to the ring and I was a heel and have people boo you. Just to go up them steps through the ropes in itself was just a great feeling. Just a great feeling.
I agree.
And to look over, another great feeling is to look over and see Killer Kowalski as the referee for the match.
I know.
Walter, look over and see Walter try not to laugh,
Yeah.
So, Brittany, you told a story about, the one time you had to be a baby face. And, how did it feel, though? Did it feel odd? It had to feel odd, right?
Oh, it was awful. I didn't feel like myself. I felt like I was becoming someone else, and I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know how to do being a baby face. And that made me feel stupid because you're supposed to be able to do either at any time. And I did it once, and I was horrible. And Walter told me I was horrible. And I said, thank you. Now, can I go back to being a heel, please? And he said, absolutely.
At least you tried it. But you tried it, and you knew it wasn't for you.
It was awful. I felt so out of
your element, right?
Yeah. Out of character, out of my element. I felt like I was looking down on somebody that was almost had no confidence, didn't know what they were doing. It just made me feel like I was brand new again. And this was probably 8 years into my career. And I felt like it was day one.
Wow.
Weird.
When I first started, I was a baby face and I couldn't stand it. And I didn't like it because all of Walter's champions and other federations champions were baby faces. So I could never fight for a championship because I was a baby face. So I went to Walter one time. Yeah, so I went to Walter one time and said, listen, Walter, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to be a heel. And man, did I just take off when I was a heel. I was in so many steel cages and championship matches with Brian Walsh and Cowboy Chris Duffy and other champions. And I love being a heel. And I agree with Brittany. A baby face, it might not look to the fans any big deal, but it is a big deal to be a baby face or a heel. And when they used
Yes,
to
it
throw
is.
stuff at me, they attacked me at the JFK library to try to tip my car over. And outside the JFK library, I loved it. And I used to carry a pipe with me, a long pipe, my back seat. So we used to chase them. There was 5 of them trying to tip my car over. So I was chasing them with somebody else that was on the show. And then finally I said to this other wrestler, I forget who it was, just take this pipe. And because every time we'd get back into the car, they'd just run up and try to tip the car. And I had a little Chevette. I don't know if anybody knows what a Chevy Chevette was.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And they had this thing rocking, and we'd have to get out. So finally I said, just take the pipe, go chase him down there. I'll be in the car ready to go. Just jump the fuck in, and off we went. And that's how we get out of there.
Oh yeah, I had my tires flattened. I had my windshield smashed. It was awful, the stuff. But
it's awful. But isn't it in a way? Isn't it? I mean, I know it's an inconvenience, but isn't that kind of like an appraisal on how great you are at doing your job?
I would say so. Yeah.
Because I was about to say, you two guys are probably like 2 of the best people I've ever known, and 2 of the nicest. And to know that you guys were both career heels, and the way you talk about it, and you were so good at it, it's really, it sheds a lot of light on professional wrestling and the psychology behind everything. It's not just 2 people stepping in a ring and exchanging holds. There's so much more to it.
Oh yeah.
Well, I forget. I know one night, I forget where it was. It might have been in Weymouth, I believe. Walter used to teach us as a heel, look at the first 2 rows and pick somebody out. Heavy set guy, bummy people, and then get on them. So that's what I used to do. Step through the ropes and get on them. Come in the ring with me. So one night they attacked. Walter was the referee in my match, actually, and they attacked me. This little lady attacked me, and she had this pain. We ran around the ring twice, and she ran right after me. I got in the ring, and I looked at Kowalski, and he's sitting there laughing his ass off. So finally, the match ended. We come back to the dressing room, and Walter came in. He was still laughing. He goes, "That was great, Dave. That was great. That was fucking great." That's how he used to talk. I said, "Well, if it was that great, do you think I could get an extra $50 tonight, Walter?" He goes, No, you can't get no fucking extra money.
Wasn't that
That
great?
was fucking great. But
I imagine that Walter was quite frugal. I just get that impression.
Yep.
Yes, he was. Yeah, which was he was frugal, but he taught us how to be frugal too. So I mean,
hey, that is a great life lesson. If you teach somebody to be careful with their money.
Yeah, I don't know how many times we went to I don't know how many times we stopped at the Kowloon with a Suburban full of wrestlers coming from Canada or the North Shore. We hit the Kowloon and nobody paid. We'd sit there and just picture, 5 or 6 wrestlers sitting there ordering whatever you want. And we just got up and left. Nobody paid because of Walter, who he was.
That's right. Kowloon, everything free if you're a wrestler.
Yep.
I heard Walter was a very, I know he was a vegetarian, but I heard he could really eat. He could really put the food down. Like once he started, he was like he was as a wrestler, right? He was a machine.
It was a machine. Yeah.
I heard he didn't even pick his head up. He just
No,
that's right. Just shovel.
Yeah, that's what he did. And literally, he would sit there literally sometimes 2 hours eating, and that's no fucking lie.
And now, how do you? I've never been a vegetarian. I mean, to me that would be torture. But somehow how long did he do that? Was that like a late in life thing, or had he done that for a long time?
I think he did that for like 50 years.
Oh,
I think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No thanks.
What do you fill up on? I mean,
greens.
Oh, he loves salad bars. Anything salad bars. We used to stop at this place in Holyoke right after we wrestled at Mount Tom. It was this, I believe it was Route 6. He'd stop in there and we'd sit there for 2 hours and we'd be like the boys would be like, come on, to ourselves, come on, we want to go home. And just because we went back 2 hours to probably 2 hours back to where we lived from Holyoke. and then we'd think he's coming back for the last time. We get ready to leave. That motherfucker get up again and go back to the salad bar. And we wanted to go home, and he was driving. So,
and the guy was, I mean, he wasn't skinny, but he was, you know, he built like a Clydesdale, a racehorse.
Yeah, definitely. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I mean, I come from a family. My mom swore that vegetables had, you know, they were healing, and you know, she would make us, like when she made spinach, she would put like give us each like a cup of the spinach juice. And my thing was green beans. I could never get enough green beans. And one time my mom went to the farmer's market, bought 5 pounds of green beans, put them in a giant pot, and my brother and I, we polished them off just, you know,
Wow.
in one sitting, because they, you know, I mean, and to this day, I love vegetables, but you know, you put a steak in front of me, I'm on it.
How about lima beans? You like lima beans?
I love lima beans. I absolutely love lima beans. I do. The only vegetables I would say I don't like are maybe okra. I'm trying to think of, that might be the one, like, or bamboo shoots, you know, which have no purpose anyway.
Right.
Right.
I mean, what's a bamboo shoot?
I know. I agree.
And any other veggie. I mean, even later in life, I've started to like Brussels sprouts.
Oh, wow.
Never liked them before, but I like them now.
Good for you.
Yeah, Coach Mark. Now that's a good. He wanted me to give him a health tip, but that's a great one.
That is.
Yep.
Very good.
Dave, are there any true crime updates at all?
No, we're just waiting for. There is one on Mr. Walsh. He's going jury. The trial starts tomorrow. Picking the jury. Yes, in the same courtroom that Karen Reed's case was in.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, Brian Walsh starts tomorrow. I believe that's his name. Yep, he was found competent to stand trial. So that starts tomorrow in Dedham District Court in Norfolk County, where Karen Reed's case was, same courthouse. And he thought he was going to get out of it because he got stabbed or whatever happened. He got shanked in prison a few weeks ago. So he thought he was going to be a smart ass and his lawyer and ask for an evaluation and get out of the trial that way. And that didn't happen. So he was found competent to stand trial. And that starts tomorrow with the jury, picking the jury.
Interesting. I didn't know that was coming up so soon. Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So
we're going to have to keep our eyes on that one.
I'll be watching my buddy on Court TV. So I'm sure they'll be in the court. They'll be in the courtroom for that one.
No shortage of crimes in that neck of the woods, huh?
No kidding.
No.
I mean, I'm sure there's plenty down here too, but I mean, it seems like there's a lot of corruption in that area of police, and that, you know, I hope we do this show, which I don't see why we won't, but I really hope that we do the show long enough that we see some kind of like major scandal, you know, and people getting locked up, and I'm talking about cops.
Yep, I agree.
Right.
We'll be right on it, right?
There seems to be a lot of corruption up here, and a lot of serial killers down where you are, Benny.
Yeah, no shortage. Yep. You know, and I'm, you know, now people know. I mean, I say it on the air. Like I'm, if you want to find me at 701, walk into Grandma Sally's, walk in the front door, look to the left, second booth, facing the cashier. That's me every morning. So I'm an easy target.
Yeah.
And I leave there at 7:30. So if you're a little bit late, just wait out in the parking lot. You can pick me up there.
Yeah, well, I'd love the CIA would love to use you as a Lee Harvey Oswald type.
You know, I would much rather, though, because I do have one ambition as far as podcasting and doing a DJ. I don't want fame or fortune. I just want to be able to autograph one set of boobies with a Sharpie. That's all I want. Is that asking too much? Is that being like overly, you know?
Any size preference?
No, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
You know, actually, like a little bit on the flatter side would allow for a more smoother signature, but I guess I wouldn't mind like having a rocky signature.
Right. Well, maybe your dream will come true.
Yeah, you never know.
So I mean,
You know-
it's in the realm of reality, right? It's not. I'm not being like
It is.
overly real, unrealistic.
It is.
All right.
I mean, A1's doing remarkable stuff these days.
I guess, Coach. I mean, I don't know. I mean,
Jesus,
Would that be
one
like
boot.
a-
That sounds
would that be like a Cyclops, just like one in the middle, like?
like someone that's coming out of the carnival.
Right. Yeah. That's the freak show, right?
Jesus.
Yeah.
It's funny.
All right, guys. Well, I want to thank everyone in the live chat, as well as anyone who follows our show, be it on Want Radio or any of our audio platforms. If you haven't already done so, please make sure you subscribe to the Playa Entertainment Network so you won't miss any future episodes. And do not forget to check out The Bad Girl every Saturday from 1 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Funland Radio. 4 hours of excellent classic tunes. That is such. Not only do you do a great show, Brittany, but like it's such a well produced. That Funland Radio. It's top shelf as far as production. It
Yes,
really is.
very, very.
Yes.
And we get the week of Thanksgiving off, and we get 2 weeks off for Christmas.
There you go, man. Great benefits. So yeah, Brittany's on a Saturday from 1 to 5, and I'm on every Sunday, 3 o'clock with Benny the Jet. And I've included links. If you look in the click on the description, you find both the links. Really check them out. I don't think if you like the oldies music and you like it by somebody that's a little bit older and and very friendly, you came to the right place. But for the bad girl Brittany Brown and Uncle Dave, this is the one and only Playa telling everyone to stay safe, and we will see you next crime.
Bye, everyone.
Night, guys.
Have a great week.
Stay warm.
Yes.